Hello, my name is Jenna, and I'm going to be presenting pharmacotherapy of Parkinson's disease. So what exactly is Parkinson's disease? In medical terms, it is considered to be a degenerative neurological disease which is chronic and progressive. Or more simply put, it is the disease of the nervous system that gets worse as time progresses, and it does not go away. Parkinson's disease has also been known as shaking palsy or even paralysis aticans, which means shaking palsy in Latin. So Parkinson's disease is a disease of the basal ganglia, which is a region within the brain. The basal ganglia function to initiate and provide control over skeletal muscle movements. The basal ganglia is composed of the striatum that includes the caudate nucleus and the putamen, the external and internal segments of the globus pallidus and the substantia nigra, as well as the subthalamic nucleus. Here is an image just so you can understand the location within the brain of these areas. So as you can see right here, there's the substantia nigra in the brainstem, and then the caudate up here, the caudate nucleus. And from the front view, you see the substantia nigra right here, the subthalamic nucleus, the globulus pallidus on both sides, the putamen, and the caudate nucleus. So what is the cause? It is unknown what the cause of the disease is. It is, however, believed to be attributed to a variety of factors that can be both genetic and environmental. Additionally, age does seem to be a factor since Parkinson's disease usually appears in older adults. The free radical hypothesis is a more recent hypothesis that believes the neuronal degeneration is caused by free radicals. Free radicals are atoms or molecules that can have an unpaired electron, which makes them a reactive species. They play a role in many biological pathways. What are the signs and symptoms? Given that this is a progressive disease, many of the debilitating effects of the disease may take years to develop. But this also means that the signs and symptoms of the disease will also not appear well into the disease. Within the brain, there are two types of cells, neurons and glial cells. Glial cells can be viewed as support cells that provide nutrition, support, and protection to neurons, while the basic structural unit of the nervous system is the neuron. It is a specialized cell that can conduct impulses. They have extreme longevity, greater than 100 years, because they do not divide or replicate. They also require high amounts of oxygen and energy, such as glucose. In Parkinson's patients, the neuron is damaged and then dies. More specifically, the neurons that die are known as dopaminergic neurons. Dopaminergic neurons are neurons that respond to chemical messengers or neurotransmitters, known as dopamine. The dopaminergic neurons that are affected are located in the location of the brain known as the substantia nigra or black substance, which I showed you earlier. Cell death within this area results in the characteristic movement impairments. As mentioned earlier, it's because this area controls skeletal muscle movements. Now here are some images. If you look right here, the one on the left, this is an image of a rat brain substantia nigra. And right here, the green fluorescing cells are dopaminergic neurons. And the image on the right, is the chemical structure of dopamine. So just so that you have another idea of the substantia nigra, if you take a cross-section of the brainstem right here and view it, this is what it looks like. And as you can see, the substantia nigra is located right here in the brainstem on both sides. And it does actually appear as a dark streak. As mentioned, it appears as a dark streak, in which you can see right here. So in a normal person, you see the dark substantia nigra, but in a Parkinson's patient, you do not get that same dark pattern, which is suggestive that those neurons are dead. Another pathologic hallmark of Parkinson's disease is the presence of Lewy bodies. Lewy bodies are abnormal aggregations of proteins that develop usually within the cell bodies of the neuron. They are assumed to be attributed to the dementia that is seen in some Parkinson's patients. So as you can see, this dark spot right here is the Lewy body. And this is an image of the substantia nigra. So another image, as you can see, they're kind of forming strings, these Lewy bodies as well. So, besides the loss of the dopaminergic neurons and the development of Lewy bodies, there are also other symptoms that are associated with Parkinson's disease. Firstly, they tremble involuntarily. They have rigid, stiff muscles, slow movements, which is known as bradykinesia. They have a stooped posture, poor balance, a shuffling walk or gait, and they can experience dementia, which is a deteriorating mental ability. Now I have some examples of the pill rolling tremor. Let's see.
We are showing you the pill rolling tremor in the Parkinson's patient. You can see clearly. This is basically the tremor, and you can see in between.
Now I also have an example of the rigid, stiff muscles, which is called cogwheel rigidity.
A series of catches appears during passive flexion of the extremities. This is called as a cogwheel rigidity. This is a typical feature associated with Parkinson's disease.
Now I also have another example of the shuffling gait that most Parkinson's patients have.
Small steps. Oftentimes there's a tremor associated with this. And as the gait progresses, there may be a picking up of speed, or what's called a fenestrated gait. And then in turning, instead of having the normal turning, the patient will turn en bloc, which means they'll turn almost as a statue moving around. And then, again, having difficulty starting, and
To simplify things, the main symptoms can be remembered by the acronym TRAP. T stands for tremors, R for rigidity, A for akinesia, which is the lack of voluntary movement or slow movements, and P for postural instability. There are also other symptoms that can occur, such as eye movement abnormalities, autonomic dysfunction, depression, anxiety, sleep disturbances, and vision problems. And that is the end of part